Today, we are going to be looking at waste and waste disposal. What did I say? Waste and waste disposal. And our focus is on what is waste, types of waste, waste disposal methods, effects of improper waste disposal, reusing waste, and the advantages of recycling. Now, get your writing materials as we sail along. Now, what is waste? Waste are unwanted and unusable materials. Do you know that waste are products of human activities? Meaning, anywhere you see human beings, you find waste there. Waste are products of human activities and they do not have immediate usefulness. Waste can be produced from our homes, from our schools, offices, industries, everywhere human beings are found. And examples of wastes includes broken bottles, empty cans, nylon, empty cartons, garbages, and so on. Wastes can be grouped into two. How many? Two. Number one, we have solid waste and we have liquid waste. Can you repeat after me? Solid waste and liquid waste. Now we're going to be looking at what solid waste is, and we'll also look at what liquid waste is, and we'll also be looking at their different types. Let's start with solid waste. They are unwanted solid materials that are produced from human activities. When you say something is solid, it means it's hard. Is not in liquid form. And another name for solid waste is refuse. What is another name for solid waste? Refuse. And this solid waste can be grouped into two. Into how many? Into two. We have combustible waste and non-combustible waste. What do you mean by combustible waste? They are materials that can easily burn in fire. Examples: cartons, plastics, pillows, beddings, etc. Then non-combustible waste are materials that cannot be easily destroyed by fire. They cannot be easily burnt in fire. Examples: we have glass, we have bottles, we have metal, needles, and so on. Now, solid waste can be biodegradable or non-biodegradable. Now, what do we mean by biodegradable? They are waste that can be easily decomposed or degraded by microorganisms or microbes. Examples are food waste, human waste, dead animals, etc. Then non-biodegradable wastes, they are wastes that cannot be easily decomposed or degraded or decayed by microorganisms. Now let's look at liquid wastes. They are water which contains wastes from household and factories. Another name for liquid waste is sewage. What is another name for liquid waste? Sewage. Sewage can be grouped based on their sources. What did I say? They can be grouped based on their sources. Now, number one is human waste, and this comprises of urine and feces. So our wastes are part of liquid waste. Then we have household waste. Examples are water from washing dishes, clothes, bathing, and leftover foods. Then we have industrial waste, waste produced from industries. Examples are chemical waste, washing production materials, disinfecting liquids, etc. Then we have runoff water. Does this word sound familiar? Yes, when we did erosion. Runoff, they are water that runs on the surface when rain falls. So that is also a liquid waste. Now let's look at waste disposal. What do we mean by waste disposal? This is a way of getting rid of waste. There are different methods we use to get rid of waste from our houses or from our offices, school, and so on, from our environment. There are different ways we throw away our dirt. Now, the type and the nature of waste determines the method to be used. All right. So we have different method of disposal for different types of waste. First, we are going to be looking at methods of refuse, which is solid waste disposal. We have open dump. Open dump is a selected place where waste of different kinds are dumped. We have waste pits. This is when waste is buried in the soil. Okay, this method prevents odor in the environment. We have dumping at rivers or sea. This is commonly used by people in riverine areas. They use their canoe or boats to dump waste in the river, and this can cause water pollution. We also have pig or dog feeding, where waste from hotels, restaurants, even from parties can be used to feed pigs or even dogs. But one thing about this method is it can be dangerous because there might be broken bottles in it, and this can cause harm to the animals. Then we have land reclamation. This is when waste are deposited in waterlogged or marshy areas to claim such land. Okay, so you are doing it to salvage the land. You see them putting waste to cover potholes or waterlogged areas. Then we have incineration. Now this is using a special machine to burn off refuse at a very high temperature. Then we have pulverization. This is the grinding of waste into powder. Now this method is used in transforming waste to fertilizer. Now we're going to look at how to dispose sewage, which is liquid waste. One is burying waste. You can bury waste in dug holes or in trenches. Then we have the use of latrines. Now people pass feces in latrines. These latrines, they are just dug holes. For example, the pit latrine is an old-fashioned type of toilet, but in villages and in rural areas, they still make use of them. Then we also have the bucket latrine. Then we also have mobile toilets. So these are different ways you can dispose of sewage. Remember, we said human wastes are examples of sewage. Then we have use of soakaway pits. Now this helps to drain waste from septic tank, water from your bathroom, wash hand basin into the ground. All right. Then we have dilution method. This is treating wastes before passing them into natural water bodies like rivers or lakes. We have irrigation method. Now this is spreading sewage on the surface of the ground as a way of supplying artificial water to a dry land. Irrigation is an artificial method of supplying water to a plant or a soil. Now in this case, sewage is used instead of water. Then we have sewage farming. This is spreading sewage on the farm to grow crops. Now, sewage can act as fertilizers to improve crop growth. We have different effects of improper waste disposal. What will be the results of improperly disposing your wastes? We have bad odor. It can cause pollution and bad odor, and this can cause discomfort to people. Then we have water pollution. When sewage are poured into water, it causes water pollution. Then sickness. People can become sick because of poor waste disposal. You can have sickness like diarrhea, cholera, dysentery, etc. It can also breed pathogens. Pathogens are carriers of diseases. So disease-causing organisms can multiply fast in waste dumps like mosquitoes, ass flies, etc. Then we have dirty environment. It can cause our environment to be dirty and make it look unkept. Then we have water becomes useless. It makes our water useless because polluted water cannot be used for drinking or washing. Then it can destroy living organisms in the streams or river due to the pollution of the water bodies. Fishes and other living organisms in the rivers or streams can die. Let's look at reusing waste. Is it possible to reuse waste? Something you've thrown away, you've gotten rid of from your house. Can you reuse them? That's what this topic is about. Now, some useful materials can be found among waste collected to be destroyed. So even in the refuse, something can still be used. The stages involved in making use of such waste are as follows: salvaging, recycling, and composting. What is salvaging? This is the removal of useful materials from the waste. So when waste are being thrown away, people salvage this waste, meaning they go and pick some useful materials on this waste like nylon, plastics, and so on. Then that brings us to the next one, which is recycling. Now, recycling is the process of sending salvaged materials to the industries to produce other useful items. Examples: waste paper are changed into pulps for making toilet tissues. Then we have broken and used bottles are collected and they can be used to make other bottles. Then we have composting. It is changing waste from plant and animals origin to organic manure. Alright, so the waste gotten from plants and animals, they are not changed to organic manure. Now, this is done with the help of microorganisms, especially bacteria and fungi. Now, what bacteria and fungi does is they help to decay these waste materials. So the manure produced can be used to help crop to grow and produce well.
Look into some of its advantages. Number 1, it helps to provide raw materials locally. Number 2, recycling saves our environment from pollutants. Number 3, it promotes personal hygiene. Number 4, it makes conservation of materials possible. Number 5, recycling also provides job opportunities. Now from today's class, I'm sure you know the importance of waste disposal. Let's go over it once again. Refuse is a solid form of waste materials and it can be biodegradable or non-biodegradable. Sewage is made up of liquid waste and it can be treated and well managed. Waste disposal is the method of removing waste from our environment for the purpose of keeping it clean and healthy. Refuse can also be disposed by incineration, composting, and landfilling. We also learned that recycling is a process of converting waste to useful products, and it helps to keep our environment safe and clean.
Wow, with this we've come to the end of this wonderful lesson. Always say yes to proper waste disposal. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to attempt your quiz and do your assignment. See you in class. Bye.